The Eagles blow a 21-point lead in Dallas to drop their third game of the season. Uh, I just everything we've been talking about for a long time. It feels like literally the worst half of football I think I've ever watched. We're gonna break it down, but probably for not very long. Because to be honest, I'm so sick of talking about this team right now. But whatever, we'll get into it. I'm your host for Postgame Live, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane Haff NFL. Do so at your own risk. If you're going to be offended by me talking about how much the offense sucked tonight when I watch the film tomorrow, then maybe don't. But otherwise, you can give me a follow. Also joined by Ryan Reese. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, where do we even start, man?
I don't know. Yeah, you said it perfectly. That was in all my years of watching this team, that might have been one of the worst halves I've ever seen. Just every chance they could to do something wrong, they did. And combine that with, turnovers and, the penalties. I mean, it just, I love how you can just go to the high of up 21 nothing. You intercept the ball in the end zone, and, you know, this is going to be the greatest day ever, to blowing a game you should have easily won, embarrassing yourself in front of the Cowboys. And, again, not that it may not matter, but, you basically had a shot to eliminate the Cowboys. And you gave them life.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. You're facing. You go up 21-0 and everything was clicking. You score your first three drives. You went empty a lot. You went tempo a lot. You threw to the middle of the field. Everything's going good. And then after that point, when the Eagles score a touchdown on their third consecutive drive, for the rest of the game, they go 3-and-out, 3-and-out, punt, 3-and-out, miss field goal, fumble a punt, and then you punt again. And by the way, this is against a team that is 31st in the NFL in scoring defense. They have the number 29 rushing defense in the NFL. And you can't even run the ball on them. Saquon Barkley has 10 carries for 22 yards in what might be the worst game I've ever watched him play. The fumble, the slipping, it was a bad game for Saquon Barkley. Tank Bigsby gets one carry for 8 yards, and that's all he gets. At a certain point, and I'm not saying that Saquon, I think, has been really good a lot of this season. He was bad tonight. And you've got to change a pace back that has sparked a few times, and you never go to him. You commit penalty after penalty after penalty, and there were some bad calls in there, but you end up committing 14 penalties in this game. Just an all-time awful performance by a poorly coached team with a poor scheme that's executed poorly. That's really about all there is to it offensively. So, I honestly, I don't even want to talk about the offense. I've got nothing else to say about the offense. I've said it all. I've been saying it for 2 months, and people yelling at me about the record. And hey, the record is still good. Eagles are 8-3, and they might win out, and they might make it to the playoffs. But there was a bit of me that hoped, you come out of the bye week and you had two tough performances back to back, and there was a bit of me that hoped, although I didn't fully believe it, that these are two really good defenses, and maybe they'll come alive against the Cowboys. And I let myself believe for the first three drives.
Well,
I think that's what made it so devastating, because deep down I knew that there were real problems, and I let a strong quarter against a bad defense make me think it was fixed, and then it all just came crashing down. So.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's again, I did the same thing. I was just like, well, this is exactly what we wanted. AJ Brown involved in this game, and they're moving the ball, and yeah, it'd be nice if they ran the ball a little bit more, but well, yeah, whatever. It's working. Who cares, right? They're scoring points. They haven't scored 21 points in a couple of games. They're doing it almost in the first quarter. This is great. Life's the best. And then they just, I don't know, forgot how to play. They played too timid, too scared. Uh, you know,
They stopped
I,
going tempo.
yeah,
That's for
well,
darn
sure,
sure.
sure. I mean, you have this offense that just completely does a 180. And, again, I think any other circumstance, we probably would have come out with a victory had the defense stayed healthier.
Yeah.
I think that certainly, is a factor in the fact that, getting these Cowboys back into this game. When Coop's on the outside, and you have Keeley in there, and Sidney Brown's playing significant minutes, and there was one guy in there, I don't even know who the hell he was. So it sucks. It's certainly something we could have snuck out with a victory, like maybe we have in previous games. But the injuries just were too much for the defense to again cover the offense's ass again.
Yeah, and also just on top of that, I think my favorite part of this whole debacle is you come out, you get the ball back after your defense has a phenomenal goal line stand, which the Cowboys were absolutely insane for
Yeah,
going for that fourth down. The Eagles offense hadn't done anything
right.
in 2.5 quarters,
Yeah,
but so they're absolutely insane to go for it. But the defense gets the stop, and then you have, excuse me, you come out of the 2 minute warning with a 3rd and 2, and
oof.
all you need is a first down, right? That's it. All you got to do is get a first down. And I mean, we're going to try to go get in field goal range, obviously, and kick that field goal. You go to the 2 minute warning. You've got some time to think about it.
Yeah,
And you come out, and I understand that you hadn't been able to throw the foot or to run the football, and that's fine. But
that's
why
great.
is Will Shipley your running back on 3rd and 2 out of the 2 minute warning?
Yeah, yeah,
Saquon's not tired. Uh, put Tank Bigsby in if Saquon's tired. Put
right.
Tank Bigsby in if you don't trust Saquon. Go empty and give Hurts the option to run it. He was great out of empty again today.
Yeah, it
And
was.
instead, you come out and you put your third string running back in the backfield. It's pretty clearly press man coverage. And I'll have to get the full all 22 view, but everything I saw just hitches. Just
Yeah,
little hitches.
yeah.
Like I
Well,
I
that's it.
can't do it with this offense anymore, man. It's disgusting.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. That was definitely a part where a place where again just run the ball. Like, I- again, this certainly kind of harkens back to the fact that regardless of how you feel about your run game, you still need to do it just to keep everybody honest. And yeah, the second I saw Will Shipley, I said the same thing out loud. I was like, well, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
And
As soon as you see Shipley, you are 100% tipping to the offense
yeah,
that it's a pass play.
yeah.
Like 100. When was the last carry that Will Shipley had in a game? I don't even know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up now that I asked that.
I listen. Will Shipley's one of those like, hey, it's a really great story and all that, and blah 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 blah. But I don't want. No offense. I just don't want to ever see Will Shipley out there because then
He
I
had 4 carries in the Green Bay. He has 11 carries this year. You put
11.
a guy with 11 carries this year on the field on 3rd and 2, and I mean that play wasn't his fault, but
No,
just
no,
the
right.
personnel
But
use.
yeah,
I'm not blaming him. I'm
not at
blaming
all.
the
Not at all.
offensive
But
staff.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It was just and the penalties. Like again, I knew this team was not the most disciplined, but Jesus, it's like they completely forgot how to play penalty-free football.
Yeah.
I mean, Honestly, I just think this might be, the curse of Lane Johnson. Everybody is so aware of our record and this, that, and the other when Lane isn't in there. And what happens? We lose a very winnable game, even if we didn't look good, even if we snuck out of there with another victory. I personally, listen, I really don't care. Wins are wins are wins. And yeah, do you want them to look good? Do you want to be up by 30 points? Sure, of course. But I'll take a victory by one than anything else. So, and yeah, there are things that need to get fixed clearly, especially after that second half. I mean, my God. Um, and I don't know if it's more of their offensive like philosophy to just like turtle up,
Oh,
you
it's
know?
absolutely their philosophy.
Yeah, just to like like, hey, we did our part. Now let's play it safe.
And the
And
worst part about that is they will have a fumble by Saquon Barkley and a fumble by Xavier Gipson to point to. Because had that not happened, like if you're going to lose this game, this could be good in the long run if you get up 21-0 and then just fall apart and you lose 24-21 and you didn't have turnovers, so maybe you would have to admit that your over conservatism is
right.
stupid. But now you get two fumbles, and so Nick can point at those instead of taking a hard look in the mirror at this pathetic offense that's the highest paid offense in the NFL, and he can say, you know what, if we don't turn the football over, we probably win the football game, even though that's not true, right? Because the Eagles defense bailed them out of both fumbles,
Right.
right? The 5 plays and a punt the first time, they get a 4 and out the second time. And so those fumbles absolutely did not cost the Eagles the football game, but I can promise you that's going to be the first words out of uh, Nick's mouth when he's asked about this in post game stuff and media later this week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, yeah, listen, it was an ugly game, and you're right. A lot of people in the comments that are clearly you know not Cowboys fans. Um, yeah, this does fall on Nick and Howie to a degree. Um, the philosophy of just cowering after dominating for a quarter and quarter and a quarter. uh, and then just turtling up and playing it safe. And that's 100% the reason why they got back into this game and they slowly started chipping away. And again, penalties and injuries and a couple other things factored into having the defense be a little bit more susceptible. Um, but yeah, there's a real talk that needs to happen with Nick, with this team, Patullo. I mean, that offense looked putrid in the second half. Putrid.
Yeah, yeah, really bad. Well, let's quit talking about the offense.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Briefly, Xavier Gipson, I would cut him tonight.
Yeah.
Cut him tonight.
Yeah.
If you're going to field a punt at the 1 yard line, you're not a return man anymore. And if you proceed to fumble it, you get cut tonight. So
Yeah.
Xavier Gipson shouldn't be on this football team. By the way, Britton Covey, who was one of the best return men, actually the best punt return man in the NFL 2 years ago, is on the Eagles practice squad. So
Sure.
maybe you could do that. But
I
just
mean, can't get
horrible.
any worse, right?
Yeah, horrible by Gibson. But let's get over to the defense. And, I think the defense played pretty well in this game. I mean, it's hard. You give up a ton of yards in this game, right? And we don't care about yards necessarily.
No.
However, um, we care about success rate, and I think it was a pretty good
No.
game for the Cowboys from a success rate point of view. They had they had a fumble, they had an interception in the end zone, they missed a field goal, and some of those are good plays by you two, undercutting that route, getting the interception. But I do think there's a good chance that the defense wasn't quite as good as people think it was by the score total. And you do get into late in the game. Adoree Jackson goes down, and then you lose Reed Blankenship, and that really puts you in a hole
Oh
defensively.
yeah.
And you end up seeing the play that decides the game ultimately. Michael Carter runs into Quinyon Mitchell, and those guys just haven't played together, and that's a
Right.
chemistry thing, knowing how to get around your cornerback and things like that. And so, ultimately, I think the defense was probably not as good as people are thinking right now that they were. However, they came up big in some big spots, and they played well enough that they deserved to win this football game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was watching the game and somebody was like, do you think this defense is better than last year? Do you think it's better than, the 90, but I was like, whoa, whoa. I was like, good Lord. It's been like 3 games. Let's let's pump the
Yeah.
brakes. Like, uh, listen, I get it. It's great to see over these last couple of games that the defense has been shutting down some decent offense. Um, but yeah, there's still a lot of things that need to get fixed on this defense, and you know, um, obviously, the depth is pretty bad. I mean, the fact that Adoree has been actually playing rather well considering he goes down, and then now you have Keeley, and then having Coop on the outside was just not it. Clearly, again, I know they wanted to get Michael Carter involved a little bit, and given the injuries and this, that, and the other, but combine that with the fact that Reed goes down, and you had
And then Makuba too. There's going to be a
Makuba,
significant
yeah,
concern
exactly.
about
It's
safety stuff now.
Yeah, no, it's our depth is going to get exposed, and unfortunately, the only position they have depth at is linebacker. They have 3 pretty darn good linebackers who can actually play, and they can really only play 2 of them at a time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know, it's funny. It's
Yeah,
just frustrating.
and it really stinks too that you have Zach Bond dropping an interception, or a
Oh,
play where he reads Dak and the ball's in his hands and he's just not able to secure it. And that
no,
ended up being a touchdown drive for the Cowboys, and so that could have been a big play,
sure.
a big swing for the Eagles. Maybe it lets them get out of there with that win as well. But um, I think the pass rush disappearing completely down the second half is also a concern because the Eagles pass rush has really come alive these last 2 weeks against Green Bay and Detroit, and it started good against Dak, and then it just really fell off, and so. Uh, there's things to be concerned about there. There's definite things to be concerned about health wise in the secondary.
Oh yeah.
I just saw on Twitter that Big Dom helped Andrew Makuba into the locker room, and he had his shoe off, and he
Ugh,
wasn't putting any weight on the foot.
not good.
So that's going to be something to monitor for sure. Um, you cannot you can't afford to be losing at either safety because that's going to put Sidney Brown on the field, and Sidney Brown got picked on in this game. So
Yeah, he did.
yeah, it's a tough loss. My fear, and again, I think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this in here. My fear is that when the Eagles look at this game, they're just going to point to the turnovers and say we turned
Mm,
the ball over, so we lost. When what they should be looking at is the continual bad situations they put their defense in,
yeah.
and and it could have even been worse because CeeDee Lamb apparently just there's something about playing the Eagles that means he can't catch a football.
Right.
He had what 3 or 4 drops tonight. It's
I
insane,
think 3. Yeah, I saw a total of like 7 in both 2
yeah,
games, which is
crazy.
nuts to think about. The CeeDee Lamb is probably not even going to have 7 in a year, much less in 2 games against the Eagles, and yet we couldn't capitalize on the second one. So
Yeah, so and then of course you get Jake Elliott missing a kick too. So it was all three phases. I mean, the
yeah,
defense had
yeah, special
opportunities.
teams was garbage.
Defense gave up a lot of yards. They still stood tall in some big spots, but they had
Sure
some
did.
other spots. And I don't want to be overly critical of them, but because they were put in awful situations. But you fumbled a punt inside the 10. You missed a field goal. The offense was the offense for like the 8th game in a row, excluding that one game where we beat up on the Giants.
Right.
And And this is what you get. You get a 24-21 loss, and now you're going into a short week. And the last
Injuries.
time the Eagles lost, and we were like, well, at least it's a short week, we got the Thursday night meltdown against the Giants. And so, hopefully they're able to turn this one around on the short week, playing the Bears on Friday. Um, I I don't know. At least that one's a home game, right? That's a
It
home
is.
game. Yeah.
Sadly.
So sadly, but at least
Honestly, I was so pumped for this Black Friday game. It was after Thanksgiving, the tailgate. We were all going to bring leftovers. It was going to be like a really fun time. A lot of people coming, and now right now I don't want to go.
yeah.
Like,
Brett
that's just where I'm at right now.
Brett Eclipse trying to put a bright spot, a spin on it here, saying at least we come out at 2-1 of a 3-game stretch where we probably expected to go 2-1. Yeah,
That is technically that's technically right.
yeah, that is fair. I said going into the bye, if the Eagles
Same.
could win 2 out of those 3, they would be in a really good shape to get the 1 seed, and I still believe that as long as they can figure some things out
Well, listen,
offensively.
if we can just say that about the next three, that'd be great too. I'd take 2-1 out of the next three.
Yeah,
Bears, Raiders, and Chargers, right?
yeah. No, Bills. I can't
No, I
remember the
think
exact
Bills
order.
is later.
Okay, the Bills is the game sandwiched between the 2 Washington games,
Right,
isn't it?
yeah. And then it goes Washington, Bills, Washington.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So yeah, just keep going two
keep
and
going
one
two
and
and
hope the
one.
Rams lose. So I
Good.
do think so. I don't expect the Eagles to do this yet, but if they can't get the run game going, they're gonna have to be willing to run Hurts more because being their total inability to run the ball tonight uh, was a huge reason they end up losing this game. So they've got to get a run game going, and so far Hurts has been their best weapon in the run game. And so I liked seeing them empty it out and run him some. I think, especially when you get down to the playoffs, if the run game is still struggling this bad, which, Lane will be back then, and hopefully you're in a different set of circumstances, but you've got to be willing to run Hurts 10 or 12 times a game in the
Yeah.
playoffs if that's what it takes because you can't run it with your running backs.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think even doing that will open up a little bit for Saquon. It just always seems to be that when you have the threat of essentially all three of Hurts keeping it and passing it, handing it off to Saquon, or tucking and running, it keeps the defenses honest, and that's honest. That is what we need for this offense to be somewhat efficient. So, and you're right, David. If only I would have played.
We suit Ryan up.
Yeah.
Give Ryan a headset. Let him call the plays.
I mean, listen, I can't be any worse than Petullo. I may not
Yeah.
know all the jargon, but I'll get them down the field.
We have a question here from Brett Eclipse. Do you think there's a chance the Eagles pull a Sean decide to motion with Patullo? Not saying it would work at all, but it seems like that time of the year.
I feel like at this point, no.
Yeah.
I feel like if they were going to, they had a million and one opportunities to take that step. I don't think they look at Petullo the same as many of us, on the outside do.
Yeah, I highly doubt that they do that. But that brings us back to a statement that I made back on October 9th about how the Eagles should do just that coming off their second consecutive loss heading into the mini
Yeah,
bye,
I know. I
and
remember
how
that.
waiting till the bye week would waste a lot of time. And now here we are at the end of November still talking about the Eagles offense being a train wreck. And I don't know. I mean, I say that. I was going to say I don't know what the solutions are. I know what the solutions are. It just doesn't seem to be working. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know. I really don't have much else to talk about off of this
Yeah.
one. You guys can
And
drop a couple of comments here as we kind of start to think about wrapping up if you want. It's a short post game show, but I'm so sick of talking about this, to be honest with you. I yeah, I don't know,
yeah.
man.
No, listen, you're not wrong. It was over the last couple of weeks, we've had to deal with a lot of outside BS noise with the AJ Brown crap and nobody likes Hurts, whatever kind of stuff. And, you know, they were doing all that and they were still winning. So it was like, whatever. But, now that you have a loss that kind of shines a light on every other annoying thing that's going on with the Eagles, and yeah, you're 100% right. Uh, it's going to be a rough week to talk birds.
Yeah. At least it's a
Luckily,
short week.
yeah, at least it's a short week. But I'm hoping by the time Friday rolls around that I'll be, a little bit more pumped into the game, into the, getting out there.
You will be.
I know I will be, obviously. Listen, if I was in my 20s still, it would have 100% ruined Thanksgiving. Not even hesitatingly joking on that. Now, obviously, in my very old age, um, no offense, Oldman, but yeah, I think it usually takes me about 24 hours to kind of set it and forget it and just roll over to the next, So
Yeah, I
it's
think part of what makes this one so hard for me is like I don't even get an escape in college football because I'm an OU fan, and they're the exact same team as the Eagles. They have like a dominant defense and no offense whatsoever. And so
come
I
on.
just watched this game yesterday, except OU happened to win.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's just like I haven't watched a good offense all season from either of my teams. And so,
Oh
um,
come on. Mateer's gotten a few good games, right?
yeah, against Troy or whoever played in the
Well,
beginning of
you
the
you
year.
gotta you gotta play who's on the schedule, right?
Yeah. 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 The Eagles need a Troy game. Maybe
Yeah,
they can make that Chicago
yeah,
on
right.
Friday.
FNA, that would be great.
But
And
I
that,
had
and that, you know what? That is how that is how the Eagles go usually. It's they do really well and they do a little bit better than maybe what you're thinking, and they win games that maybe they shouldn't, and then they lose a game where they're every right should have won, and then turn around the next week and then do something completely different. You're like, oh, um, I guess I'm back.
yeah.
I'm back in. Like,
Daniel chiming in here says, by the way, Daniel, I accidentally deleted one of your comments earlier. Misclick, my bad.
Mhm.
Said I need that breakdown on the 3rd and 2. Looked bad even on the TV copy. Yeah, from what I could see, it looked bad. It looked like everybody just ran and turned around. So
Yeah,
hitches
it
type stuff.
100%.
But
I know Dallas Goddard certainly did.
yeah, but I'll have to see. I want to see that side view so I can see what exactly dictated what. Brett Eclipse asks, "What's the chance we see AJ Brown complaining after an 8-catch, 110-yard, 1 touchdown game?" I mean,
Probably
if
good.
I'm AJ Brown, I'm saying I had 100 yards at the end of the first quarter, and you
Yeah.
stopped throwing me the football. But
I mean, at this point, he's obviously trolling, and the Philly media are not the brightest bulbs, and they eat it up every second of it. So 100% something will happen. But
yeah, and then we got another one. Is our sorry, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Guda Gib is our biggest issue the offensive line? I don't think so.
I don't
Uh,
think biggest issue, but the health of everybody sure is. Obviously, Lane. I did read something that they didn't put him on IR just yet because it looks like he may avoid surgery, but I feel like we're still in that waiting period where we don't 100% know. The swelling still has to go down. Am I wrong on that,
no, I feel
or
like
is
they
this
should
like an
have.
official
Well, it
like
seems weird to me they didn't just automatically put him on IR
right?
because like you're probably missing 4 games
Yeah,
anyways.
well, that's
So
what I thought too. So maybe they're thinking it's going to be more in the 4 and 5 range
yeah,
rather than the 6 and up.
yeah.
But
I didn't really follow why they didn't do
yeah,
that.
it
Uh,
seemed weird, and,
but
and obviously, Cam, you know, playing today, I'd have to go back and kind of go through the snaps of Cam to really kind of tell if he had a good game or not. But certain plays, I can definitely tell you he didn't. Um, and who knows? Maybe that was just from being out for too long, and going up against a pretty formidable interior D line from Dallas. So Um, yeah, I don't know. There were definitely a couple of plays from the other guys. Dickerson, handing off a rusher to no one, who
Which
eventually went and got a
which
hit
one of
on.
our offensive linemen do you think surrendered the least amount of pressures in this game? If you were guessing.
If I had to guess,
Mm-hmm.
so a smart man would say you're only bringing this up because it's not who I think it is. So I'm gonna say Tyler Steen with the least.
He had the most.
He gave up the most pressures.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that does make sense. Fred?
Fred Johnson gave up. Fred Johnson gave up 2 pressures, which was the least on the team among the
Wow.
offensive linemen. Cam had 3, Mailata and Dickerson 4, Steen 6. Which, take all that charting with a grain of salt, but
Sure.
I generally trust pressure statistics.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
just
listen, clearly it's time I went out and got a 74 Fred Johnson jersey, so
there you go.
I do need a 74.
Someday you can tell your kids it was Lane Johnson, and they won't know his number anyways, so it'll work out just fine.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. I think I'm good.
Three words? Are we doing
Player
that?
of the game, 3 words. I'm gonna give Devontae Smith player of the game for that one catch on the deep ball. That might be one of the best adjustments I've ever seen in bringing that in.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Devontae Smith has no business being as good as he is at deep balls. Like absolutely none. It's absurd. So I'll give Devontae Smith a shout out for player of the game. Goes 6 for 89.
Yeah, and he almost, man, if he would have had that one early,
yeah,
where he just was.
He made a really good adjustment on that one
an
too.
Amazing adjustment. Like I didn't even think he was going to be coming close to it, but I think if he would have went the other way, perhaps he could have had a chance at it. But still, even the fact that he was close was amazing. But listen, I'll go with AJ Brown. It's been a little while. He's needed it. He obviously was the focus, getting him rolling. But then obviously they were like, "Oh, that's enough out of you." But again, it was nice to see AJ being AJ. And the 2-headed monster at wide receiver was nice. It was just it would be nice if they would just forget. Like I feel like they have. You ever see 50 First Dates?
Yeah.
Where the guy 10-second Kevin, or he completely resets out there at 10. I feel like that's what they do after every quarter. They reset and forget what the good things they were just doing. And they were like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe let's try this over here. Oh, darn, it's not working. Oh, well, let's try something else.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I have some questions about 3 words or less. Drop them in the comments here. We'll shout some out. But this comment is great. Brett Eclipse says, if AJ and Hurts' friendship can dissipate, why can't Patullo and Sirianni ruin theirs? That gave me a good chuckle. So let's go 3 words. You guys again can drop them here in the comments, and we'll shout a few out. But I'm gonna go. My 3 words is gonna be offense still stinks. Offense still stinks. Nothing's really changed, and I think things are gonna have to change. So I don't know what that looks like, but hopefully we get to see something on Friday. So. That's mine. Ryan, do you have a 3-word reaction?
I could give you 100 of 3 words, but I think we marked this episode as non-expletive. So
that is true.
Yeah, then
let's keep it clean.
There goes
Family
99 of them. But I'll say worst half ever.
I like it. Worst half ever. Brandon Russell chimes in with a tarmac Patullo, please.
Like that.
The Animaniac says hold coaching accountable, and the screen just jumped, so I lost him. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there's one I don't like.
Alante said, let's go Bucks.
Okay. Rando.
Well, don't they play the Rams tonight, right? I think it's the Rams.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess theoretically if I had to pick a side, right?
Yeah, you definitely want the Rams to lose. Now I'm second guessing myself if that's the game. I get locked in on the Eagles game and I forget what else is going on.
It
is Bucks Rams. So yeah, go Bucks absolutely. Although to be fair, I root for the Bucks pretty much all the time when they're not playing the Eagles because I love Baker.
There you go.
We got a no hope left from Brett Eclipse.
Mm.
This is a good one from English
Yeah,
Waylick.
that's the one I was talking about.
Need Kenny Gainwell.
Boo.
Philadelphia fan says AJ was right. We've got a Hitches are inevitable, a cut Xavier Gibson, and I'm tired boss.
Yep.
Who's at fault? Cowboys Super Bowl. That's a good one because we do have some Cowboys fans in the chat.
Oh yeah,
have
clearly
been
is.
dropping all kinds of stuff, and I find it funny they don't go watch their own team's post game show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there was one super genius earlier in the show that just kept repeating things. You know,
Yeah, which is where I accidentally deleted Daniel's comment.
I figured as much.
I accidentally timed him out, and I was like, "Oh no, how do I undo this?" And I figured it out too. But so.
I like this last one. Kevin James Franklin Patullo.
I'm just gonna say that I don't think removing a space between words makes it actually one word.
I like it. It might
work. It might work better if you didn't capitalize
right.
the second name that you squeezed together.
Kevin James Franklin Patullo.
I'm calling out Philadelphia fan 13 for cheating the system and my co-host for promoting it on the air. No, that's good. Patullo is Brian John. See, now this one I approve of. Patullo is BJ. See, if we abbreviate, it kind of works. But also, I would give anything for Brian Johnson back, man. Give me that over this.
Yeah, it's not great. Who knows? Listen, let's maybe hope somebody down in New Orleans can get fired after 1 year and just come right back.
Maybe so. All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us after a tough loss and also throwing up some of these 3 words that made me chuckle a little bit. But Ryan, before we get out of here, do you have any final thoughts for the people?
Yeah, that was effing embarrassing. It couldn't, it couldn't have happened.
That means fabulously embarrassing for those of you.
That's definitely what I meant. Yeah, like now I'm sure we all know some cockroach Cowboy fan that ultimately has been blowing up your phone since the second tick down to all zeros because they're just that kind of person. But now I'm gonna have to deal with it all week, and it just kind of ruins the week. And we could have put him to bed. We could have absolutely put him to bed. But listen, it is what it is. You just pray that they take what they learn from this game and slightly work on towards giving this offense a little hope. So, and let's pray everybody gets a little healthy for Chicago. Hopefully by the time we're on air on Tuesday for Birds of the Roundtable, we'll all feel a little bit better about things. Maybe.
Yeah. So come join us for group therapy on Tuesday night, Birds of the Roundtable. It's Thanksgiving week, so schedules might be a little weird, but we're still going to try to get some stuff out for you guys for your Thanksgiving drive. So, I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. Result of this game notwithstanding, hopefully you can watch. Actually, do we want the Cowboys to win on Thanksgiving against the Packers? Probably. So that's disgusting. Maybe just don't watch that game and have some dressing and talk to your uncle that you haven't seen for a year anyways. Yeah. Ooh, that'd be great. So wait,
they're not playing.
They're not playing the Packers. They play the Lions on
Lions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, they already played them.
Yeah, as soon as I said the tie, and then I was like, wait a minute, they actually did tie.
Yeah. So yeah, just maybe don't watch that game and just talk to your uncle you haven't seen since last Thanksgiving. Have some dressing. You don't like dressing?
What do you mean dressing? Stuffing?
Do you call it stuffing?
Oh yeah, normal people call it stuffing.
Okay, first of all,
it's
technically dressing unless you cook it inside the turkey.
Dressing is what you put on a salad.
No. Yes, but different. It's different.
Oh, so there's 2 dressings?
Yeah.
All right, fine. The only question then is how do you cranberry sauce?
I don't eat cranberry sauce. Oh, well, I don't like cranberries. So
that tells me everything I need to know about you.
Yeah. Well,
straight out the can.
Yeah, I'll just eat more dressing instead. So,
That's
All right. Well, we did get a laugh out of Ryan before the end of the show. So I'm not even gonna do a little outro about the game because I don't want to come down off of the high of getting a laugh out of Ryan. So that's gonna do it for this one. Again, thank you guys for showing up, hanging out. We'll enjoy hanging out with y'all whenever you're able to tune in live. If you're traveling for holidays, certainly. Hope you guys enjoy those. Have safe travels, and we'll catch you on the other side. Catch you on Friday for a post-game show that will be more fun because we'll be breaking down an Eagles victory over the Bears to move up to 9-3. Put it down. Write it down. We're predicting it. We're going to speak that into existence. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you, guys. We will catch you next time.